reason Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Bawumia are the problems in Ghana, you get to know. Ninano has to do with leadership. Leadership. You see, so might be it has to do with its leadership. Because no matter what, so even the citizenry, and I said the people are bad people, they are being controlled by those in power. I mean, the leadership. So the problem in Ghana now, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and I will tell you why. Before on WhatsApp and no text messages 0503-236-735. O sharing live Facebook and no other mekache o say mo a mu bisa say o ade na yenya TV na ade na article na ye den yenya no. Ye some small technical hitches bi, ye solve small problem bi, na upgrade niema de niema atutu ye. So nyame ya adoma enche. By Monday we here live. No what to me ashene so. It means whatever it is, the message must go. It may be our live Facebook at Active TV Ghana. What the obey and say my message, and cut it across. Making sure so we pushy messages, pushy. All the corteses are home, all the various groups, WhatsApp groups, Facebook, and for pushy all your friends, all platforms are also in our pushy call. Nina say obey share. On say Facebook share button to bo share neswa. Na say groups hold our person share Bawumia, no wa share individuals our person share Bawumia, no wa share friends our person obi our person share man bia how dey share. Now obi anso nya bi share. So my Ghana fan into my pa edifra. Now my never fan into my pa edifra, then we have to change our style of leadership. Because leadership in the country is the problem. And when we are talking about the leadership, we are mainly talking about Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, who is the president of the republic, and then Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who is the vice president of the republic. Nana Bawumia takes over. So these two, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, are the reasons why there are so many problems in Ghana. Take it or leave it. Because some of the control will be out. Now, Professor Otino Lumumba, Kenya School of Law Director. This man is full of wisdom. The people we elect into power. The people we elect into power as Africans. Therefore, the people we elect into power as Ghanaians. That is the problem. Now, Okanyema Bibri. So on this Yebebo video, then you get to know why Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, Bawumia are the problems in this country. In this country called Mother Ghana. So on Facebook and WhatsApp and no text messages, messages in a kind amount. Number na screen is on your WhatsApp 0503-236-735 0503-236-735 at Active TV Ghana Facebook. Okwa share ascension dey no logo ni said that TV no so no sa sounds so and YouTube, TikTok, Twitter and so Active TV GH. Active TV GH. Over call www.myactiveonline.com. Also a news portal. Stories are who do now sabi to me akabi and so ewo. Release ayen shasye. Now and some the problems we have in Africa as far as leadership is concerned. It's the same problem we are having in Ghana as far as leadership is concerned. And my culture that I said the leadership of this country, has to do with Dr. Mahamudu Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. They occupy the highest and the biggest seats in the country. Producer Inti.
See the convoy of an African minister. Not a president. I'm not touching the president. The presidents are in a different world. The African minister. The African minister will never queue. Oh, he's anathemic. Oh, the African minister is a demigod. Oh, Africa. The African counselor in your rural home When they go to churches, not even if it is not their denomination, they saunter to the front seats. And even our latter-day clergymen will invite them to share their wisdom with the people, even if we know that they are village fools. If there is anything that we must learn from Western Europe, is that they have gone through enough problems and they are capable of organizing their affairs, and they have demystified political leadership. We must demystify political leadership going forward. And once we do that, and I think we can do it because I can now begin to see something happening in Africa. Young Africans are beginning to ask searching questions. Africans are beginning to recognize that corruption is a cancer in our body politic. They are beginning to recognize that those who want to buy their votes don't mean well for them. They are beginning to recognize that there is enough money to change their lives if the thieves are eliminated from the political arena. They are beginning to realize that commercialization of politics is a threat to democracy. They are beginning to rise up. And I think that those who have not smelled the coffee will be surprised. They will be surprised when the ground moves from under their feet. They'll be surprised when Africa begins to elect individuals who can demonstrate that they have ideas, because the politics of the 21st century is the politics of ideas and about competition of ideas. And therefore, when one is appointed into any public office because of the demands of the electorate, and this relationship between the African member of parliament or the African president and the electorate is a symbiotic relationship. It is symbiotic in a very perverse manner. And I suspect I'm misusing the word symbiotic, but I'll use it or misuse it nevertheless, to the extent that it explains my point. What happens is that it appears that the electorate has allowed the so-called leader, because many of them are misleaders, to remain in their positions of power and to acquire as much as they can, on the understanding that periodically their loot will be shared with them. It is some kind of Robin Hoodism of a latter-day kind. And this Robin Hood kind of politics is a little bit different, at least from my understanding. Robin Hood robbed the rich in order to share with the poor. But our latter-day African Robin Hoods are in the business of robbing from the poor in order to give a pittance to the very poor. And this is what we are talking about today when we talk about commercialization. So that if you ask any typical African politician, how much does it cost you to be elected into parliament, they'll tell you it is in the millions. It is in the millions, and the millions they spend is perhaps 10 times more than they'll ever earn through their legitimate salaries. And I ask myself, if your salary in 5 years is going to be 1 billion Ugandan shillings, why should you spend 5 billion Ugandan shillings to get into that office? There must be something that we do not see, but you see, and I know what it is. What it is that getting into the office of the Member of Parliament, or indeed any other political office in Africa, is a guarantee that things will come. So that in many African countries, the politician is the major tenderpreneur. The politician is the gatekeeper. The politician is the one who receives the guests. He is the tax collector informally, aside from the URA. And in this regard, therefore, we must commercialize politics. We may blame the politicians, but what about the electorate? The electorate also is to be blamed. The electorate has insatiable thirst and hunger for things that they have not worked for. They have been trained and they no longer listen to ideas. My good friend Norbert Mao, who I was told was here, I do not know whether he is. He is here. Will tell you, not that I have talked to him this morning, but he will tell you that one of the pains that one has
so a whole lot of points, and within this 3-4 minutes video, Professor Lochotino Lumumba Ebo so now video never, so we be breaking it down kakra. Then we get to know the problem here. Africa, the problem why Africa is suffering, and then why Ghana is suffering. Ubia Esunihu. Yes, of course. Bawumia sometimes ago admitted that everybody in this country is suffering. And the reason being that we have voted people into power who are misleading us, referring to themselves as leaders, but they are misleaders. That is the problem. Yes, Bawumia Kaya, nurses are suffering, teachers are suffering, blah 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 are suffering, farmers are suffering, when are suffering, Ubia suffer. Yes, it is true. But the reality is that people are suffering because of the so-called leaders who are misleading us, which Dr. Addo and Bawumia is part of. Those leaders are misleading Omaino, including Addo and because they occupies the highest seat of the land. Addo and Dr. Addo and Bawumia, they are the leaders who are misleading us instead of leading us. Enti ekwan was omode oman ne fa so no omumfa mfa so ena baby any kwan so omode oman ne fa no eho na omode nam ena oman no ebre. So it is good Bawumia admitted some time ago that everybody is suffering in this country. It is true because of the people in leadership who are misleading us instead of leading us. So baby also omode ye fa no omode ye nam baby foforo. A leader is to lead, it's not to mislead. But this is the situation, the kind of leadership we are having in this country, led by Nana Addo and Dr. Addo and Bawumia. They are misleading the country instead of leading the country. Baby, I was somebody fan and you nam. Baby, any class somebody fan and nam. That is the problem we have in this country. That is the problem we have in Ghana. As the commander and the chief and somebody sitting on the highest seat of the land, Nana Addo and Dr. Addo and Bawumia, you are rather misleading the country instead of leading us. Because as far as your duties, responsibilities, roles, objectives, aims, mandates are concerned in government, more fairly, bitterly, more fairly, totally, and you are misleading the country, thinking that you are leading us. It is wrong. Now, what you know, everybody certain points. Listen, these are some of the things I deduced. Was in Africa, therefore in Ghana, presidents are in different world. So, what shall a man paying for? It is good, say you give honor to whom honor is due. You get it? It is true. Say there are people we need to give them the best in life so that they can reason. Listen, there is a reason why politicians or leaders live some kind of luxurious life. There's nothing wrong with it. If you don't know, I'm telling you today. Say leaders live luxurious and big lives. There is nothing wrong with it. In politics, in leadership, go and read about it. In leadership, those leading must live luxurious lives. They must enjoy the best of delicacies. They must live luxurious life. The entire was say it gives them the right thinking. So that wherever they are leading, they can lead to the right direction. But I can't happen to say, I said, we have leaders around Africa, leaders around Ghana, leaders around the global. They are living their luxurious lives, but they are failing to think as people, to make sure say they lead the country to the right directions. So they see themselves to be leaders, but they are misleading. So now, we see ministers as demigods in Ghana. This topic, we will do it again. We see leaders as ministers as demigods. Minister ba, hey, obi na obeda form. Minister who say, as a way nipa change nipa amanfo a or serving omo. Minister who say, one no there as far as president says who omo different people altogether. They are not like the voters. They are not like the citizenry. That is what goes on in this country. And then also, say we vote people into power who, even when we know that they are village fools. Hey, the Professor Lochetino Lumumba was in Africa. We vote people into power even when we know they are village fools. Hey, and you know who a village fool is? Somebody or a villager or say fool. Anybody who is a village fool is somebody who does not think, who does not apply the common sense in whatever he or she does. Those are the village fools Otino Lumumba is talking about. So here in the citizens, we are even to be blamed, because even when we know people are village fools, we still vote them into power. In Africa, in Ghana, in the world. That is how come the world is suffering. That is how come Africa is suffering. That is how come Ghana, we are suffering. So Dr. Addo and Bawumia and Addo are the major problems in this country. Take it or leave it. Because they are in leadership. They have to make sure say and then also, corruption has become the cancer in politics today. Where in whatever case, as soon as Obibe into politics, as soon as especially Obibe enter into parliament, according to say the place has become gold mines. The place has become an oil mining site. And to Obibe within the shortest possible time, the person becomes rich. We do not know what is there in our parliament house. But the thing is that Obisika oje, any sika wodi, if you compare and contrast, you realize, you ask yourself so many questions. Say, if these are their salaries, then look at the kind of lives they are living, sending their wards to school outside the country. They say building mansions, driving luxurious cars. That is the kind of leadership we are having in Africa. That is the kind of leadership we are having in Ghana. That is the problem. So now, we allow misleaders to remain in power to lead us. That is another problem we have in this country, Ghana. We the citizens, we allow misleaders who call themselves leaders to mislead us, thinking that they are leading us. And yet, so we vote them into power. So how mindful are we before we even vote these people into power? Before how do we do the checkups? Because there have been several occasions any panel are very incompetent, but we still vote for the person. It is just because of one thing. It is just because before any panel power or spending more to get into power. So the question is, what is there that people must spend more to get into that position? Because we know, say, also in other countries now, leadership, you are there to go and serve the people. So it come with luxuries. It doesn't come with so many benefits, because you are going to solve problems for the people. You are going to make sure, say, whatever the country needs. And it doesn't come with luxuries in Sweden, but the country is developing. You get it? But according to say, in our part of the world, Ghana, Leaders, the kind of life leaders live. Young citizens, we are to be blamed because hey, your mom must spend this before we vote them into power. So, omubenya power na. Then Professor Lochotimbo Abe say they become armed robbers, they become thieves. So we, the citizenry in Africa, in Ghana, in all parts of the world, we vote for people who are thieves and robbers. Even when we know they are incompetent, we vote for them. Just to mislead us. So we are thinking that we are voting for leaders, not knowing that we are voting for misleaders. But even after realizing that they are misleading us, we still vote for them because you bet 1 CD, 2 CD, and we are okay with it. So if we don't change the way and manner we, the citizenry, we vote people into power, hey, the mess will continue. Mess hardship because we demand from the people and then we vote them into power. So when they before so they enter into power, now I get dry. Then he also starts mining. Now we have to blame ourselves. To
endure. When you confront your typical African electorate, is to convince the electorate that ideas count for something. Many times when you address the electorate and you are waxing eloquent, telling them, when I'm elected, I'm going to ensure that we have good health services. We are going to ensure that we have good schools. We are going to ensure that we create opportunities for innovation and invention and create opportunities for young men and women. They are waiting for you to finish. They will tell you, we hear you. We know you are going to do all those beautiful things. But in the intervening period, I must eat. And therefore, no matter how beautiful your ideas are, if you don't carry money on that day, your ideas, like the elephant before them, will never fly. Leaders who, upon ascending to power in Africa, became demigods. How many of you here will forget Mobutu Sese Seko? How many of you here will forget Jean Bedel Bokassa? How many of you here will forget Samuel Doe? And then we had the emergence of guerrilla movements where people rose against their very own who had used their positions of power to destroy what had been gained over the years. And then, in those early days, you will also remember that many African leaders, including the enlightened ones, took the view that because of ethnicity, it was necessary to unite the people. And whether you are speaking from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, or Lusaka in Zambia, or Kinshasa in what was then Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, or you are speaking from Nairobi in Kenya, and here in Uganda, the clarion call was that we must have one-party states. And the justification for one-party states was that we are so disunited, there are so many ethnicities, that if we allow multi-party politics, then what would happen to us is that we would be negatively ethnicized, and that we would break our countries, and that therefore, to ensure that there was unity, we needed one umbrella under whose auspices and under whose guidance the people would be united. But no sooner had we sufficiently articulated the beauty of single-party states than Western Europe told us, no, that is not democracy. Democracy means that you must have many political parties. Democracy means that you must have regular elections. Democracy means that you must have the civil society, so that our brand of democracy as we embrace it today, I dare say without fear of contradiction, was not conceived in Africa. It was conceived for us in Paris. It was conceived for us in Madrid. It was conceived for us in London. It was conceived for us in Washington. And we have swallowed it line, hook, and sinker. Africa does not tell our own story. Africa does not design what is in our best interest. Africa still waits to be told what is good and right. And I dare say that that is why Africa does not realize our potential. But yet it is also important to point out that the African and African countries are more resilient than the European states. You know, if you allow me latitude as a guest must be allowed, permit me to say this. The ethnicity that we keep on talking about, African countries are just slightly over 60 years since they regained their independence. Take Nigeria, for example, with over 500 ethnic groups created within an artificial boundary. They have had their problems, they have had their hiccups, but the nation is still alive and well. The difficulties notwithstanding. Take Uganda, for example. You've had your difficulties, you've had your trials and tribulations, but the nation is still alive and well. Tanzania, with over 136 ethnic groups, the nation is still alive and well. There is a sense in which, in the face of our difficulties, we have succeeded.
I think we need to get time. Now, such videos, such sensible and wisdomatic videos, and then we play for people to listen. We play for people who are misleading in one way or the other to listen, just to learn some common sense, because this is wisdom speaking. This is wisdom speaking. You see, there are so many problems in Africa. Let's talk about our own. There are so many problems in Ghana. Whatever problem is it in Africa, it's a problem in Ghana. Because Professor Lochotino Lumumba, they are all problems in this country. They are all problems in this country. Yes, because we ourselves, as voters, as the citizenry, out of the DNA, I thought I won't say we vote for anybody, and I'm using the word anybody, into power. And then when they get into power, because they are not people who qualify to be in power, they mislead. Maybe thought that they said as people, and the country is suffering. Now, or say they spend 10 times what they earn before they get into office. So the kind of people we vote into power in Africa, the kind of people we vote into power in Ghana, we make them, we the voters, the citizenry, we make them spend 10 times what they are going to earn as salaries, as benefits, as allowances, as whatever, before they get into power. And to before say power, no you're dry with nothing. So on so be say obe turn parliament and I say power no into mining site, obe turn power no into oil refinery, no refine it, no two, and then the person will become rich. John Sebastian Tabam. So these are the kind of people we vote into power. Now, we vote them into power and they use the power to destroy. That is the kind of country we are in now. We vote people who lack ideas. We vote people with no ideas. We vote greedy people into power. And when they come into power, all they do is to destroy. So Ghana is suffering because of the kind of people we vote into power. Take it or leave it. Ghana is suffering because of the people we vote into power. Because we vote them and they come into power to destroy. For example, a dear man na my Ghana mua and the say we are Ghana near for politics don't change. A dear na my mua and say just tell me. Yes, you are saying because of the kind of people we have voted into power who are misleading us. Until there are no proper measures to ensure the safetyness and the cleanliness of our various water bodies. And our mind so in our assay. Look at all the ministries, look at all the sectors we have in this country. Look at how they are being run. Look at the agri sector, look at the education sector, look at the financial sector. You're misleading and the country is suffering. That is the kind of people we the citizens we vote into power. Misleaders. We vote misleaders into power to come and mislead us ignorantly. Now, and another thing is also that we are so disunited as people, and we hate to be told the truth to ourselves. We'll be my friend people near NDC. Saa nkwasha politics na yeti kroma no na ye Ghana for aye no say chese ade no anya wonse nipa ne ye NDC ni nkoa de NDC ya ade na enye kra eye sa ade na nya wonse nipa ne ye NPP ni nkoa de NPP ya ade na enye kra eye. Look at the kind of nonsensical politics we are doing in this country. The kind of nonsensical politics we are doing in this country. Nyanse biya ni me see will be one NPP. Now when him say NPP 4 year there na nya because of say one NPP nti o say eye wona waka say obi NDC year there na nya because of say NDC nti o say eye wona waka say. We are so disunited, and that is total disunity among us as voters, as people, because I didn't know obi year there na enye because of a political affiliation o say eye. Doesn't make sense. O man na Jimmy obi yade tio. You see, when common sense speaks, the foolish must listen. Say nyansa kasa akwahye antie nie obi yade wo NDC ade ne nye na wo NDC nti wo se chenchen ade wo ye ne ye unum nyansa. Obi yade wo NPP ade na wo ye no enye because of say unsusu one people nti chinchina ade na nipa ne ye no eye unsusu ntu ni nyansa oman no ye nyansa wo he. You see, the way a manner amanyosem edidi oman ni tirim edidi oman ni mu ni petirim edidi oman ni mu di petirim eye jimi. We should change from that attitude. We should all be united as people. We should be united as people, because when we are disunited, these people who are always misleading us after we have voted into power will continue to mislead us, and we will be the ones to suffer the most. That is why it is you watching me, it is me standing here. We suffer the most. Those in power forget they are not suffering. They don't know what we call even suffering. They are not suffering. Take it or leave it. Share. Now VAT in a corner convoy in a power utimbi. When they go and lodge in the best of hotels, eating the best of delicacies, living luxurious lives, what can we be as a voter? No. You see, let's apply this common sense in the media for the country to develop. You see, we should live our lives devoid of senseless politics. We should be united and know that this country belongs to you, belongs to me. It doesn't belong to any political party. This is the common wisdom. This is the common sense. When we apply this common sense, once we get to know, say, this country does not belong to any political party, and then we seek to always tell the truth regardless of our political affiliations, this country would. We are so disunited as people. So disunited as people. Ghana, we are suffering. enti obi say wo di akokɔ kura si ho na wo di nipa si ho na akokɔ ne hye NDC atade a meto ma akokɔ jimi obi say wo di anka si ho na wo di MPP nipa si ho because of say wo NDC nti obeto ma anka no jimi. And that is the kind of politics we are doing in this country. Amagana suffer, and I've told you, it is you, it is me that suffers the most. It is your farm and yourself no don't change, and then begin to reason as people are. Regardless of our political affiliations, this country will never develop. And somebody say now, but we know the best we can do. Meaning they are not Clement, the youth advocate. Truth will always defeat lies. Job 32 na anya panyi bi aso na enim nyansa. E ka obi ni nyansa so a won sem frasa for awade ho. Enti anopai ade bi aso nyansa ni manya adwuma. Enti anopai me mpa ye ne se ono asa for awade. Nyansa a wode ma King Solomon na anu no. Wo ma o my Ghana empani for the same nyansa ni bi. Because ahunya de we have everything at our disposal. Akanyansa yedi bebu my sansa chwani say nyansa me my eninti me my ebre. It simply means that or maybe all natural resources. Na emu nipa na say o my ebre no e che say emu nipa ni mu nyansa. Nyansa me my eninti me my ebre. Eradi na nkopon mo man Ghana mpanimfo nyina nyansa oma voters nsu nyina nyansa ne yento abapa na mpanimfo nsu mu oman papa na oman ne mfa ne ntoma pa emfa infra ebusua ye de besi sports update beba newspaper beba entertainment update enso so beba mama abra fa bia kenten ma beautiful lady ono so stand by na me koi de me ka say wo ye Ghana ni odwuma wo ye wanamo wa wutuo onsusuye eboa amoman no akoso a nyame ontua woka amen we ye Ghana ni odwuma a wo ye wanamo awutuo onsusuye se emoa ema oman no nkoso a onsoso nyame ontua woka amen ni mu nyame ntua obiaka se de adwuma sitie izambam zambam